Really excited to be playing Cal tomorrow. I thought the atmosphere yesterday in their game was terrific, and it's a game that I think our team is excited to play in, and we're looking forward to the challenge. Very, very good Cal team will play.
And at this time, we'll take questions for the student athletes. If you could raise your hand, we'll get a mic over to you, and if you could please give us your name and affiliation, that would be great. Janie.
Morning, ladies. Imani, Cal's, some of the questions they faced last night were how they were going to try to slow you down, and how much momentum do you feel you have coming off the game you had last night?
0. It's a new game. I mean, they're a completely different team than Western Kentucky. They have Rashonda Gray in the paint. So, I mean, yesterday was yesterday. Tomorrow's going to be tomorrow. I don't think I can carry anything over except confidence and try to do my best.
Okay. I guess going off that, what does Rashonda Gray present for you as a matchup down there?
She's a great player. She's always been very, very physical. She finishes really well, and she stays on the offensive glass. And I think she gives them a lot of emotion and a lot of leadership on the court. So I just got to make sure I limit her touches and box her out.
Yeah, Rick. Go ahead, Rick.
Rick Cantu, the Austin American Statesman. Imani, this has been a long journey for you since October. Can you say how much of your recent success is due to you being healthy, and talk about the struggles of getting to this point from after the leg surgery and so forth?
I think it's just been a really long season. And Coach brought me along slow and made sure I got my legs back and just my timing and my feeling for the game. And all my teammates were really helpful with kind of just waiting for me to get everything back and trusting me when I was ready and helping me get my confidence back.
Stephanie.
Stephanie Hammond from the Bay Area News Group. Imani, you and Rashonda both grew up or are from LA, went to high school in LA. I'm just wondering if you played her or played with her at all back in high school, and what you remember from those past matchups, if you had any.
Yes, we played against each other every summer. Our high schools played against each other in fall league, and then we would play against each other in travel ball a lot. And she's always been really, really aggressive. And we played against each other at USA too. So.
Were you on the same team?
No, she's older than me, so she was on the older team. I was on the younger team.
Craig Way from AM 1300 The Zone in Austin. Empress, I wanted to get your thoughts on what the guards talk about when you go through some of the challenges yesterday in the first half, and it didn't seem to be specific to any one guard in terms of taking care of the basketball and running into some of the problems that you have. What is the conversation like among the guards to try to shore up some of the issues that happen during the game when you go through a streak like 3 or 4 minutes where there were turnovers and unable to get shots?
Well, we talk about attacking the basket and, not standing around the three-point line, just passing the ball to each other. We talk about not turning the ball over, like you said. I mean, sometimes it happens, but that's just the conversation that goes on with the guards.
Mike and then Rick.
Mike Vernon, San Francisco Chronicle. Imani, you were saying, you played Rashonda a number of times, it sounds like. Did you know her on a personal level at all?
She's really close friends with a lot of my high school teammates. And as aggressive as she is on the court, she's really sweet. She's really nice.
Did you guys ever spend any time together off the court or hanging out? No?
No.
Nothing like that? Okay.
Empress, Coach changed the lineup yesterday, and mainly she said because of the experience factor, and both of you obviously with a lot of experience. Can you say how much experience plays a role in games like this?
Well, I think because we have experience, like the older players, we know what to expect when the NCAA tournament comes. And I think it's just a feel for the game. And like when the freshmen or the sophomores see us comfortable out there on the court, it probably makes them more comfortable to play and not be uptight about the game.
Imani, do you remember any ways that you tried to defend Rashonda back in the day, or how she tried to slow you down?
I don't know any specifics, but she's always been much stronger than me. I think I've caught up to her now. We'll see. But, yeah, she's just always been really aggressive, and I just had to box her out and do the best I could.
how do you sort of prepare for the atmosphere? I mean, Cal's on its home court. Is that something you just have to block out? I mean, you do this all season long, but maybe not on this stage.
I think it's going to be really fun. We play in a really, really big stadium, so even when we have a nice crowd, it's kind of hard. We don't get to hear the crowd and stuff, so I don't know. I think all of my teammates enjoy playing in front of live crowds, and just it's a fun atmosphere.
Yeah, just to piggyback off what she said, I mean, we have a lot of fans at home, and I'm sure they're going to have a lot of fans tonight, so it'll be fun.
And both of you could answer this. Does it help having been through that last year, having played at Maryland on their home floor in the second round, knowing what you can be up against having a real large crowd against you like it was last year in College Park?
Yeah, I think we can take a lot of things away from playing at Maryland. You know, they had a big crowd, and we just have to block them out at times and just focus on executing the plays and focus on Texas pretty much.
For Empress, what's it like when you see Imani dominate a game like she did yesterday as a teammate? What goes through your mind?
I mean, it's uplifting for me to see that she's getting as many rebounds and as many putbacks as she can. You know, I think it builds her confidence going into the next game, and it just helps us as a team collectively to know that Imani has us on the boards and, has our back.
Imani, Lindsay Gottlieb, Cal's coach, actually referenced your stat line as being video game-like yesterday. Is that a nice compliment to you?
I mean, I think it's flattering, but I guess the thing about basketball is I could have 24 points and 15 rebounds, but all of my rebounds were my teammates' shots. All of my points were because they passed me the ball. So I just did what I needed to do, and I was just trying to finish their plays.
Anything further for the student athletes? Okay, thank you both very much.
Brian.
We'll go ahead and escort you back to the locker room.
You got it.
They're still kids, aren't they?
All right, questions for Coach?
Karen, this may have already been addressed. So, if it was, I apologize. Yesterday, you started Imani. I think she didn't start the previous 9 games. Kind of, why was yesterday the time, and what do you plan to do for Sunday, if you wouldn't mind addressing that?
Well, Imani, obviously this has been a process for her to get back into game shape and her confidence back from sitting out the first semester. So gradually she has gotten better and better each game. Her timing's gotten better. Her game conditioning has allowed her to play more minutes. And you really started to see her coming around at the end of conference play. And then she was really good in the conference tournament. So when we got back from the Big 12 championship game, I had in my mind that it was getting close to time to move her into the lineup. And then I watched practice for the week prior to the Western Kentucky game, and she just really has gone to another level, in particular with her practice habits. So I thought it was time to reward her, not anything negative towards Kelsey Lane, because she's been terrific all year. And there are times that those two are terrific together. It's a matchup situation sometimes, as you could see yesterday, but she's deserved.
Cal isn't super tall, but they've got 3 players, 6'2", 6'3". Does that lend itself to playing both Kelsey and Imani more at the same time?
Well, they are really big. They're big on the perimeter. They have terrific size and athleticism, which I think it will allow us to play our two bigs together at times. It doesn't allow us to play them together all of the time, because I think they sometimes do better when they go in for each other and feel like each other has each other's back, and almost like a combo. But I do think that there will be times in this game that we'll have to play both, and it will be beneficial to us.
Coach, what will be the challenges for your team playing this this particular Cal team and just who they have, what they do.
Well, Lindsay does a great job, and they have a terrific amount of enthusiasm about the way they play. But I think one of the huge factors is that they have several players, or a couple in particular, that have been there and done this before. So you could tell, I thought yesterday, that they knew it was tournament time. They had looked like they had a sense of urgency that we're going to have to match, and we're still pretty young. So our older players are going to have to give us some confidence and some stability, I think, early in the game. But then there's some simple things where we have to handle their pressure and handle the traps, and those are things that we didn't do well yesterday that we have to do a lot better job of tomorrow. And then I think they're really, really good in transition, which part of that is they feed off of their defense. So transition defense will be a huge factor for us. I think our bigs need to play well. I think we do need to have a presence in the paint. And Kelsey's not been mentioned a lot, but Kelsey's been really good for us all year long. So I think she is as big of a factor for our game tomorrow as Imani is.
Coach, the program has made big strides in 3 years. How important, or if you were to win tomorrow, how big would that be to make the Sweet 16 in your third year?
Really big for the players because there were specific goals that they always set every year, and I think they really had their minds made up that they were going to take some significant steps this year and build on last year's season. And obviously we had some blips in the road, but we are in a position where we have an opportunity to do something special. I think it will be difficult because Cal's playing really well. I mean, that's a given, and we're on their home court. But to answer some questions that you gave the athletes, the one thing that I think we can reflect back on is that the Big 12 is really, really difficult to play on the road. It's the best conference in the country when you get down to playing on someone's home court. We're really good at home because we have great fans. And we go to Oklahoma or we go to Iowa State, it is really, or Baylor, it's really hard to win because of the environment. So I think that's the one thing that our players will be prepared for.
Karen, Janie McCauley from AP. What did Cal's supporting cast sort of show you yesterday? I think they maybe even surprised some of themselves a little bit.
Well, that I definitely would say that even though the conversation is about Imani and Rashonda's matchup, I do think that it has a lot to do with the supporting cast of both teams, because we're not going to guard Rashonda Gray with Imani Stafford. I mean, she's too good. She is an extremely, extremely hard worker that puts a lot of pressure on you every possession, and that's going to take a team effort. So our whole entire team is going to have to play its best basketball. Our point guard play is going to have to be really good. I do think their entire team looked really good yesterday, and they've played good down the stretch. They played, as we did, well in their conference tournament. And I think it will probably boil down to some complementary players tomorrow.
Do you think part of Imani's progression is because she's confident that she's not as hurt or is going to get injured? Because it must have been troubling for her to come off that type of surgery.
Imani, I think, went into her rehab with a different mindset. I mean, she's just maturing. It's a process for a young woman to mature at the college level with everything going on in their lives. And I think she's just so much more mature and handled her rehab better. She handled the transition coming back better. You know, when she wasn't quite ready, it wasn't so dramatic this time because I think she understood that it was going to take some time. And she and I communicated probably better than we have in the past about how she would feel at certain times. She's gotten more mature about talking to me and saying, I don't feel good today, and I'm ready now. And so it's a maturity process for her. She has a different demeanor right now. And I noticed it as she went through rehab, and then as she got healthier, during season, I began to notice her preparation was different, her practice habits are different. So, I mean, she's just getting to that point where she realizes that there's really not that much time left.
Karen, just to kind of follow that up, she did reference, the coaching staff and you kind of keeping her, pacing her, so to speak. How important was that? I'm sure everybody was eager to have her back on the
Well,
court.
maybe I grew up as a coach too,
What?
because my patience was better.
Okay.
I think everybody wants Imani to be what Imani can be. Our fans, our team, our coaches, and it took me understanding Imani a little bit better to have a little more patience with her and let her communicate and let her go through this process and not rush it. And I think we did a better job with it than we have maybe in her. She's had a couple of previous injuries that we wanted her to be back so bad that we didn't give her the time to mentally get some confidence about herself.
Janie? Yeah.
You mentioned, as a coach, learning from that. Is that something you'll take forward as you deal with another injury with another player and say, okay, this worked in this situation, and maybe I can show that I'm patient with it?
I think I will. I mean, you want them to be what they can be, and sometimes as coaches, and again, their teammates, they want them to come back because they know that they're impactful. And it is, I mean, you learn lessons every year when you coach. There's no question about it.